I remember standing in the middle of Florence, Italy, staring at the Duomo and feeling completely alone despite being surrounded by hundreds of people. I realized that I was just another tourist taking a picture to put on my social media to get some likes. Even though I'd traveled to 75 countries at that point, I still felt like a tourist in every place I visited, and I really wanted to experience the world like a local instead of an outsider. So I spent the next few months researching how to truly immerse myself in any culture. And these are the tips I learned along the way that will help you go from tourist to cultural immersion. And to make it easier to navigate, I organized them into the 3 C's of cultural immersion: connect, learn, and experience. The first C is to connect. You could want to experience a new place like a local. If you only stick to the tourist traps and do you actually connect with anyone who lives there, it might be intimidating at first, but remember that locals can open up your eyes to their way of life, introduce you to new experiences, and give you memories you'll cherish forever. But how do you actually meet them? One of the easiest ways is to stay in a hostel instead of a hotel. Hostels usually have more common areas where you can hang out and socialize, and they often organize activities for guests to participate in. For example, when I stayed at a hostel in Granada, I met other travelers and locals, and we went salsa dancing together. We then invited each other over to our respective homes to show us around. A local even invited me to join him and his friends for tapas after. I ended up meeting so many locals and hearing all about Spanish culture through their stories and experiences. This wouldn't have happened if I had stayed in a hotel room watching TV. Or on the other hand, I could have joined an activity that interests me. Instead of going on a tour where everyone else speaks English, I could have gone to a language exchange meet where I could practice my Spanish while helping someone else with their English. Volunteering is another great way to connect with locals because you're reactively contributing to a cause you care about while making a positive impact on the community. I volunteered at a dog shelter in Romania. I not only got to play with adorable dogs all day, but also formed meaningful connections with the local staff and fellow volunteers. Plus, there are plenty of online platforms where you can sign up for short-term volunteer opportunities abroad. But one of my favorite ways to connect with locals is simply by using Couchsurfing is a platform that allows you to stay for free on someone's couch who lives in the city you're revisiting. It's a fantastic opportunity to experience a city from a local perspective and to make new friends. My friend Sarah used it when she traveled to Guatemala and stayed with a local family who showed her around the city and introduced her to their culture. She even learned how to cook traditional Guatemalan food and was able to practice her Spanish while chatting with them. And if you're worried about staying in someone's home, don't be. Couchsurfing has a strict screening process, and there are plenty of positive reviews and background checks to ensure your safety. Now, once you've connected with a local, there are a few things you can ask them to help you become culturally immersed. First, they can help you find hidden gems that aren't on the tourist map. They know the best local spots and can take you to their favorite restaurants, bars, parks, or activities that you would never have found on your own. Not only will you get to experience authentic local culture, but also support small businesses and avoid the crowds. Second, they can introduce you to other locals in their social circle, expanding your network and giving you more opportunities to practice the local language and learn about their customs. I remember when I went to India in 2017, I met a local named Raj during a meditation class. He then introduced me to his family and friends, many of whom I would never have met otherwise. I even got invited to a local wedding and experienced a traditional ceremony firsthand. Third, locals can help you learn about the history and significance of local landmarks and cultural sites. Instead of just reading about the history of the Colosseum in Rome, I asked my Italian friend Matteo to take me on a walking tour of the city and share his insights on the history and culture. It was so much more meaningful to hear about the Colosseum from someone who grew up hearing the stories firsthand, rather than reading about it in a guidebook. Finally, locals can help you navigate the city and make sure you don't fall victim to scams or other tourist traps. I remember when I was traveling through Southeast Asia in 2016, I met a local guide named Ben who taught me how to barter at the markets, navigate public transportation, and avoid tourist traps. He even helped me find authentic local food and introduced me to different street vendors and artisans. The second C is to learn. Learning about a new place is essential to fully experiencing its culture. Simply observing everything around you won't give you a deep understanding of the history, traditions and values that shape a society. That's why it's important to proactively seek out information and engage with the people and resources around you to gain a deeper appreciation for the culture you re-immersing yourself in. One of the best ways to learn about a culture is to take classes. Language lessons are a great place to start, as learning even basic phrases can help you communicate with locals and show respect for their language and customs. Plus, learning a new language is a fantastic way to challenge yourself and broaden your horizons. In Vietnam in 2019, I took a Vietnamese cooking class where I learned how to make spring rolls and pho from scratch. I not only got to enjoy the delicious meal I made, but also learned about the history and significance of the dish. Another type of class you can consider taking is a dance lesson. Dancing is a universal language and a great way to learn about a culture's music, rhythm, and traditions. I took a salsa class in Colombia, and it was amazing to see how passionate Colombians are about their music and dance. I also took a capoeira class in Brazil and learned about this unique Afro-Brazilian martial art form that combines elements of dance, acrobatics, and music. While classes are a great way to learn, you should also try to talk to locals and ask them questions about their culture, traditions, and way of life. Locals can provide insights and perspectives that you won't find in any guidebook or online. Plus, it's a great way to practice your language skills and make new friends. Don't be afraid to strike up conversations with people you meet while traveling. Ask them for recommendations on things to do or see, or just chat about their experiences living in the area. I remember when I was backpacking through Europe in 2016, I met a local woman named Ella in a hostel in Prague. We started chatting and she told me all about her experiences living in the Czech Republic and gave me recommendations on places to visit and things to see. She even invited me to join her and her friends for a night out on the town. You can also learn about a culture by visiting museums, art galleries, and historical sites. These places offer a glimpse into the history, values and beliefs of a society and can provide insight into the cultural context of the country you're revisiting. For example, when I was in South Africa in 2018, I visited the Apartheid Museum in Johannesburg, which chronicles the history of racial segregation in South Africa. It was a powerful and moving experience that gave me a deeper understanding of the country's past and present. The third C is to experience. Now that you've connected with locals and learned about their culture, it's time to experience it firsthand. Immerse yourself in the local lifestyle by trying new foods, participating in local activities, and exploring off-the-beaten-path destinations. A great way to experience a culture is to try the local cuisine. Food is an integral part of any culture and reflects the values, traditions, and history of a society. Trying new foods not only expands your culinary horizons, but also gives you a deeper appreciation for the local culture. I remember when I was traveling through India in 2017, I ate my way across the country from street food to regional specialties. I tried everything from samosas and curries to dosas and idolis. Each dish was a delicious and authentic experience that reflected the diverse culture of India. To get the most out of your culinary experience, try to eat at locally owned restaurants instead of chain establishments. These places often serve more authentic and affordable meals. Plus, you'll be supporting the local economy by dining at mom-and-pop restaurants. You can also try cooking a traditional dish yourself. Many cities offer cooking classes where you can learn to make local specialties from scratch. Not only will you get to enjoy the delicious meal you make, but also learn about the history and significance of the dish. Another way to experience a culture is to participate in local activities and festivals. These events provide a chance to witness the traditions, customs, and values of a society firsthand. For example, when I was in Brazil in 2019, I attended the Carnival in Rio de Janeiro. The energy and enthusiasm of the crowds, the colorful costumes, and the infectious music created an unforgettable experience that showcased the vibrant culture of Brazil. You can also attend religious services or spiritual ceremonies to learn about the beliefs and values of a society. I remember when I was in Morocco in 2018, I visited a local mosque and observed a Friday prayer service. The call to prayer, the sense of community, and the peaceful atmosphere of the mosque were all very moving and left a lasting impression on me. Finally, get off the beaten path and explore lesser-known destinations. These places often offer a more authentic and immersive cultural experience. For example, instead of visiting popular tourist sites, venture into local neighborhoods and explore hidden gems. You may stumble upon charming cafes, quirky boutiques, or stunning street art that you would have missed otherwise. You can also go on a road trip and discover the beauty and culture of the countryside. I remember when I was in Scotland in 2018, I rented a car and drove through the Scottish Highlands. The stunning scenery, the charming villages, and the warm hospitality of the locals created an unforgettable experience that showcased the true beauty of Scotland. So those are my top tips for going from tourist to cultural immersion. Remember to connect with locals, learn about their culture, and experience their way of life. By following these tips, you'll be able to create meaningful connections, gain a deeper understanding, and have unforgettable experiences that will last a lifetime. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe to join me on my next adventure. Safe travels.